Are you thinking about making a move up to the Boise, Idaho area? Well, 2025 is officially here, and one thing that hasn't changed is this is still a great place to live. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you 9 quick reasons why I think Boise is one of the best places to live in the entire country. And hopping right in, one of the things that really started the relocation energy, I guess, with the Boise, Idaho area from other states is we are still, relative to these larger cities, an extremely affordable place to live. Now, of course, this gap has shrunk a lot over the last few years. Our housing has gotten a lot more expensive. The cost of living, frankly, everywhere has gotten more expensive. And I do want to be clear, this is not the place anymore where you should have the expectation that you're going to move here and buy a house for about 1/5 of the cost. But when you're comparing it to some of those larger cities on the West Coast, throughout the Midwest, on the East, you're gonna see that your cost of living here is just gonna be better. Now, housing prices have been rising like crazy. This is both on the purchase side, we're just seeing more and more our median price continuing to shoot up, but we're also seeing it on the rental side with rents starting to get higher as well. But when we compare to those cities that we have a ton of people move from, the Portlands, the Seattles, San Francisco, LA, whatever it is, you're gonna find better opportunity and a lot more bang for your buck here in our area. With that bang for your buck, you're just gonna get more space for your money, which is why it's so appealing for young professionals, maybe going out and getting that first home. People that are starting a family, having space is important. And even though Boise isn't one to compete as the most affordable place in the entire country, it offers an extremely high quality of life here on the West Coast. And outside of Boise, the other places that offer that type of life are the really large and very expensive areas. Boise truly is the last really affordable place on this side of the country that gives you access to everything that the Northwest and the West Coast has to offer. Reason number 2 is the stunning outdoor recreation and just access to all of the activities that we have here in our area. Boise is absolutely an ideal destination for people who love to get outdoors because we have got year-round access, thanks to our climate, to all of the outdoor activities every single one of our 4 seasons. We're gonna have access just because of proximity to almost every outdoor activity that you want that doesn't include the ocean. You can find them within a 2 to 3 hour drive for the most part. The Boise foothills have over 190 miles of trails, and they're just right outside of downtown. You're gonna have a few different ski resorts with Bogus Basin just 30 minutes out of town. You're gonna have Brundage, Tamarack, Sun Valley. There are a ton of great options during the winter. Inside of town, running through the majority of our valley, you're gonna find the Boise River. So you've got a really quick place to go out and escape if you wanna go kayaking, floating in the summer, fishing. And all along that river, you're gonna have a 25-mile long green belt that's paved in certain parts. You're gonna have dirt and gravel in others, but this is a great place inside of town. During your lunch break, hopping out after work, maybe just a quick coffee walk with the dogs on Saturday. I can go on, but the access to just some great natural beauty, the community of people here who are very into these activities, and overall just that proximity to whatever it is that interests you makes Boise a fantastic place to move if you're into the outdoors. And our third reason is gonna be our thriving economy and the job market up here. But before I get into that, I just wanna remind you, I am a licensed agent up here in the area, so all my information is down below. If you have any questions at all, I'd absolutely love to chat. I have got a great relocation guide that I can send you that highlights everything that I'm talking about, but also just dives deeper into the things that you like to do, the places you wanna visit, and all of the areas that you could live in. But our economy and job market is one that has continuously grown over the last few years, and it is just getting stronger. We are still such a small metro area relative to some of these other places that we are kind of in our infancy when it comes to our overall economy. We are seeing extremely strong growth in the sectors of technology, healthcare, education, manufacturing. We are seeing a ton of businesses bring their stuff here, and this is due to just the low cost of doing business. Here in Idaho, it is a very business-friendly state, which attracts a lot of young entrepreneurs. They're attracting a lot of companies, and we have got some key local companies here that are attracting talent from some of the other areas. Micron is going under a massive expansion, HP is starting to expand, getting into more of that AI and cloud computing. We've got a ton of local tech startups, and all of this contributes to the low unemployment rate we have for our area. At the beginning of 2025, we had around a 3.6% unemployment rate, which is about 1% lower than the national average, right around 4.59. One of the things that I will be honest on is that our wages up here do leave something to be desired, especially when you're comparing to those larger cities. And I get into it a lot in the cost of living videos that you can find on my channel. But when you compare that difference in the salary and that difference in the cost of living, it's still very appealing for people to move up here. And as we have more and more companies and sectors and industries grow here, they're going to attract a lot more high-level talent and just have higher level of positions available, which theoretically should push those wages up. But this is something where I say do some of your own research, figure out what would your job up here actually pay you, because that's gonna be what matters more than anything. Reason number 4, and this is gonna be huge for families, is we have got some highly rated schools throughout the area, and we have got some extremely safe neighborhoods. We have some excellent public and private schools throughout the Treasure Valley, and this is a good place for a nice quick little disclaimer when we're talking about schools and all they're rated, as well as those crime stats for the safety of neighborhoods. All of this, do some of your own research. It is very subjective. So depending on what you're looking for, some areas might be more appealing than others. Once you've identified those, then we can focus in on that area. Boise is consistently ranked as one of the safest cities in the entire country, and we couple together low crime rates with a strong community focus, which really does just make our area ideal for a lot of families. We are also home to a few great universities here in the area, the biggest of which being Boise State University, which over the last few years has consistently grown and started to get very highly ranked in a ton of different fields. And this is exciting for a ton of different reasons. It helps our economy grow. It's attracting more and more high-level talent just to come up here and study. The campus being located right outside of downtown, and all of the sports and all of the activities provide a nice energy to the area. And pairing that together with that growing job market and those companies kind of making their way up here, Boise State in particular has started to gear some of their programs and really trying to increase the quality of person that's graduating from there so that they stay here locally in those new jobs and those new sectors. And I am a proud alum, but definitely check out the football games, the basketball games. They're just fun for everybody. The next thing that we're gonna dive into is here in our area, we have got some very low taxes and we are very business friendly. I touched on this briefly in the economy section, but here in the area, we have got some of the lowest cost of doing business, which is huge for companies that are just now getting up and rolling, established companies. Everybody would like to be able to run their business at a little more of an efficient rate. And one of the things we hear from business owners who are relocating here, especially from the Western states, is just the freedom and the way that they can do business is huge, and it's important to them both on the small business side as well as more of that corporation size. Idaho also has a relatively low income tax rate compared to other states. Last time I checked, it was around 5.8%, just a flat tax rate, and this was for both individuals and corporations. Of course, consult your CPA. But this is obviously attractive for both individuals making the move up here for cost of living purposes, but also again, those corporations that can come up here and do business and just increase that margin a little bit. All of us are looking to retain more of our income, and that's something that you can do up here in the Boise area. Reason number 6 is going to be the growing cultural scene we have up here in our valley. Over the last decade or so, we have really seen our cultural scene evolve with more and more galleries. We've got some great theaters to go out to. We've got a lot of cool festivals throughout the year. A few that I like to highlight is once a year, we have the Basque Festival right downtown. We've got the Tree Fort Music Fest that takes over downtown for about a week in March every year. They have all sorts of local bands, a ton of great venues downtown. They even have different forts for whatever you're interested in. And then when we're talking about the theater, the Idaho Shakespeare Festival out in Southeast Boise, one of the coolest things to do. So be sure to get tickets there. We also have a really cool up and coming food scene. We continuously see more and more local restaurants opening up. There's a ton of different cuisines. You're gonna see a focus on that farm to table sort of dining. We've got some great local breweries. We have a ton of really good food trucks. We have a couple of food truck parks. There are so many great options for you to go out and try, and there are a ton of great hidden gems that you might not even know about if you've lived up here for quite a few years. And one of the things that makes that growing cultural scene even more special is the way that our valley is growing. We've got Boise kind of at the center, which gives us the vibe of one of those more hustle and bustle kind of metro areas on a very small scale. But then you drive just about 20 minutes down I-84, our main highway, and you're gonna be out into some of the small rural towns here. So that balance of small town charm with those urban amenities and the growth, it provides a lot of really cool things to go out and do and experience. And that's just something that you don't get in a lot of places. Up next, Boise has excellent air quality, and we just have an overall very clean environment up here. One of the things I hear the most from people who are moving up here from some other large city after that initial visit, when they're downtown having brunch, checking out one of those restaurants, is they continuously are just amazed by how clean our downtown is, how clean our parks are, our trails. We are absolutely blessed by this, and as somebody who's lived here for a while, sometimes we take it for granted and kind of forget that that just isn't the case in a lot of places. And the same goes for our air quality. We don't have a large city really pumping out a ton of pollution, so we don't have that smog that's always around. For the most part, Boise's gonna stand out for that clean air quality, but we do, every once in a while, a couple times a year, we get either an inversion or we get some of that smoke coming in from fires either here in our state or in some of the neighboring states. But for the vast majority of the year, you're gonna have nice, clean air. It's gonna make everything outside just a little bit more healthy, and it's gonna make it more enjoyable. And if you're coming from somewhere that just doesn't have that same kind of air quality and you're used to a little bit more pollution, when you get up here, you are gonna notice it right away. Boise as a whole also has a nice focus on sustainability, the access to all of the outdoors, making sure that it is still pretty, and it's what makes Boise so great. And all of that just allows us to support a nice, healthy, outdoor, clean lifestyle. And something that I kind of hint at through a lot of these things is that really solid community that we have up here in the area. And that's the next reason that I want to talk about, is that Boise as a whole is a nice, close-knit, but friendly and welcoming community. This is something that Boise's been known for decades. When you come up here, you're just going to see that people are a little more naturally friendly. They're welcoming. They want you to enjoy living here. We have got an extremely down-to-earth population. Of course, we do have our fair share of just asshole people that you don't want to be around anyways, and those are going to be the ones that are the loudest, and they're the ones screaming that they don't want you to move here. Whatever it is, don't be scared of that. I hear about it all the time, but as somebody who's been here for a while, as somebody who relocated myself, the majority of people here, and the vast majority, are extremely friendly. They're extremely welcoming, and odds are, and don't tell any of those crazies, most of them probably relocated here at some point as well. But fairly quickly, you're gonna notice that that easygoing nature of that community is gonna allow you to find a tight-knit community to build your life around. We have a ton of stuff going on, so it's easy to get out and make some connections, get involved with what you're interested in, and build some of those long-lasting relationships. And finally, the last thing that I wanna talk about, why Boise is one of the best places to live, and this is a relatively new one, and I think it's just gonna kind of creep up the list over the next few years, is Boise, even with its smaller size, is in great proximity to some of those major travel hubs around our country. Our Boise airport is actually very well connected to a ton of the major US cities around the country. We're actually connected, I believe, with direct flights now to 27 of those major cities. And this is very different than when I first came up here. It has continuously grown as the population, of course, has grown, but the airport itself is going under a ton of renovation and expansion. So over the next few years, they're gonna add to that capacity. And who knows what'll happen after that growth, but for anybody who's flown in here, flown out of here, you know, our Boise airport is special. It's located right outside of downtown, so being from Colorado, you don't have to drive 2 hours to get to DIA. But even with all the connections that it has, it is still a small airport that is run really well. You can get in and get through security like that. So when you get up here and you ask someone advice on when you should get to the airport, whatever that time frame is that sounds a little bit shorter than what you're used to, you're probably gonna be okay. We are also located just a few hours drive from some of the top destinations in the country. Some of these include Sun Valley, which is just a few hours drive outside of town. You're gonna have a relatively short drive over to Yellowstone National Park. We've got the Snake River Valley. There are a ton of areas where you could fly into Boise if you're just visiting them and then take the drive from there. And for the people who actually live here, that is something that we don't always realize, is that we are in a prime location to enjoy a ton of the great stuff that our state, but also our country has to offer. So if you're somebody that loves to travel or you want easy access to that West Coast and that Pacific Northwest, Boise can be that perfect home base. And there you have it. Boise, Idaho is one of the best places that you can choose to call home in 2025 and beyond. The balance that we have here of still relative affordability, but the highest quality of life that you can have, the outdoors, all of the different things that we talked about, it is hard to find that bundle anywhere else in the country. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button down below. That way you are the first to know everything you need to know about Boise, Idaho. And if you have any questions at all about moving up here to one of the best places in the country, Boise, all of my information is down below. I'd absolutely love to chat. But until then, watch one of these videos that's popping up, and I'll see you all on the next one.